Good evening and welcome to the news at 6 here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you through the day's top stories. Let's start with the headlines. No relief for 1993 Mumbai blast convict Yaqub Memon. The Supreme Court bench rejects his curative plea, says correct procedure was followed. All eyes now on the president, who has to decide on Yaqub's mercy plea. Thousands line up to pay tributes to former President Dr. Kalams. Several leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, expected to attend the state funeral tomorrow. Lok Sabha Speaker tries to resolve the deadlock in the lower house, convenes an all-party meeting tomorrow. And Afghanistan government investigates reports of Mullah Umar's death. Pakistan claims the Taliban leader died 2 years ago. The top story this evening, no relief for 1993 Mumbai blast convict Yaqub Memon in the Supreme Court. It rejected his curative plea that claimed that the procedure was not correctly followed in his case. Yaqub's last hope now rests with the president, whose signature on the mercy petition can stop the execution.
A three-member bench of the Supreme Court has rejected Yaqub Memon's plea seeking a reconsideration of his death sentence. The court upheld the death warrant as valid and ruled that Yaqub's curative petition is in accordance with the law. Seeking to commute his death penalty to life term, Yaqub claimed he was suffering from schizophrenia since 1996 and has been in jail for nearly 20 years. But the court ruled all legal procedures were followed in Yaqub's case.
Supreme Court has dismissed the Yaqub's petition and intervention of other persons sought on his behalf, and it has been held that no, the petition is not maintainable. They have warrant has been legally and validly issued.
I would not judgment, sir. I would not. Sir, how do you is there any other legal remedy left now?
No comments.
The hanging will take place as scheduled on Thursday unless it is stopped by President Pranab Mukherjee. The president had rejected his plea last year. Yaqub's last hope now rests on a fresh mercy plea with the president. His family too remains hopeful.
उम्मीद है कि जो प्रेसिडेंट के पास अगर याकूब की सेकंड मर्सी पिटीशन पहुंच गई होंगी तो उस पे भी राष्ट्रपति तुरंत आज फैसला ले सकते हैं और फैसला लेने के बाद ही आगे चलकर कानूनी कार्रवाई होगी। जो डेट मुकर्रर होगी उसी डेट पर शायद अमल हो सकता है।
If there is a mercy petition pending with the president, then it has got to be disposed of before the execution can take place.
Please, I have a full faith in judiciary. I have a full faith in Almighty.
Meanwhile, the Maharashtra governor too has rejected a mercy petition to pardon Yaqub. He is currently at the Nagpur Central Jail. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court also confirmed its decision on commuting the death sentence to life imprisonment on 3 persons convicted in the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. The apex court dismissed the curative petition filed by the centre, which was seeking a review of the decision taken in February last year.
Former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's killers will not be hanged. The Supreme Court today upheld the commutation of death sentences to life imprisonment of 3 convicts in the assassination case. The apex court made the decision while rejecting the union government's curative petition in the case. The government had argued that no mercy could be shown to the killers of a former Prime Minister of the country. It also asserted that the killers of Rajiv Gandhi did not deserve any mercy as the assassination was the result of a conspiracy involving foreign nationals.
This decision would go a long way because we have to send a message down across that the courts are functioning without emotions. The courts have not to take into account certainly any political, regional, religious or any other factor into consideration, and wisely the learned judges deemed it fit in the best interest of truth and justice.
In February last year, the Supreme Court had commuted the death sentence of Santhan, Murugan and Perarivalan to life imprisonment on the ground of delay by the centre in deciding their mercy plea.
Supreme Court has actually rejected the plea by the central government to revisit the earlier decision of the Supreme Court to commute the death sentence to a life sentence. Now that is what they have done in their wisdom.
We demand the government of India to immediately release them after They have undergone imprisonment for 25 years. They have gone for a review petition, curative petition. Their mindset is not in favor of the prisoners. That is very explicit.
Among the 7 convicts, V. Sriharan alias Murugan, Santan, Robert Pius and Jayakumar were Sri Lankan nationals, while female convict Nalini, Ravichandran and Aruvu are Indians. The Apex Court had on February 20th last year stayed the state government's decision to release Murugan, Santan and Aruvu. Later, it also stayed the release of the 4 other convicts, Nalini, Robert Pius, Jayakumar and Ravichandran, saying that there were procedural lapses on the part of the state government. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other big story that we've been tracking here on Rajya Sabha TV. The mortal remains of former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has been flown to his hometown Rameshwaram today in Tamil Nadu. Thousands lined up to pay tribute to Kalam a day before his last rites. Several leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, are expected to attend the state funeral on Thursday.
An Air Force helicopter carried the remains of former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to Rameshwaram. Clad in the national colours, his casket is now kept at his hometown for people to pay their last respects. Urban Development Minister Venkaiah Naidu and Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar accompanied Kalam's mortal remains. Several people, including leaders from Tamil Nadu, queued up in Rameshwaram to catch one last glimpse of the missile man.
He was a global leader. He was caring for the humanity. He was really a karma yogi who has done I don't think anybody else can fill in that vacuum which is created by the sad demise of Dr. Kalam.
Till the end, he lived for the students. He loved the students.
आध्यात्मिक तौर पर वो धर्म को एक ब्रिज बना के सारा धर्म से एक इंडिया के अंदर एक स्पिरिचुअल फोर्स बनना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारा कंट्री एक आध्यात्मिक ऊर्जा का जगत है, तो उसके अंदर और सारा देश के लिए वसुदैव कुटुंबम वननेस का जो होता था वो प्रतीक था अब्दुल कलाम जी का साथ.
Unprecedented security covers the small town in Tamil Nadu ahead of the funeral on Thursday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is among the key leaders expected to be present at the state funeral for the former president. However, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha will not be attending. Citing health reasons, she's decided to send representatives for the last rites. With Vishal Daya, Bureau Inputs, Rajya Sabha TV.
In fact, Vishal Daya is joining us now on the phone line. He is, of course, tracking those developments there in Rameshwaram. Vishal, first of all, give us a sense of the kind of reactions you're getting there from the people who are coming there to pay tributes to the former president. What kind of arrangements in place for the funeral as well?
Well, Tracy, very solemn mood out here at Dr. Kalam's hometown in Rameshwaram. There are thousands of people who have converged on this ground right opposite the bus stand. Rameshwaram, let me remind you, is an island city, and it's not a very huge town. It's a small town comparatively to other cities, if you look at it that way. But despite that fact, the steady stream of visitors at this particular ground, wherein the mortal remains of Dr. Kalam has been kept, refuses to cut short. There are still people we can see queued up for at least half a kilometer beyond this place, and the mortal remains, though they arrived at least an hour and a half later than what they were scheduled to, but then the timing which has been kept for general public to pay their respect, to pay their homage, is till 8 p.m. What local officials tell us is that they might extend it, given the fact that there are still many people waiting to have a last glimpse of their beloved leader. Once the general public had paid their homage, the body, the mortal remains of Dr. Kalam will be taken to his home around 6 kilometers from here in Rameshwaram city itself, after certain rituals which are to take place at his ancestral house. Then Dr. Kalam's mortal remains tomorrow morning will be brought to to the funeral ground, which is again just half a kilometer from the place where the people are paying their homage right now. Tomorrow it's going to be another huge gathering out here. Not only the common people, but then several national leaders and several VVIPs are going to arrive here. What we are being told is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be here. So will be the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, along with the leaders of the party in two houses, that's Ghulam Nabi Azad and Mallikarjun Kharge. There will be several cabinet ministers. Two of them, as you pointed out, Venkaiah Naidu and Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar are already here. Though the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has expressed her inability to attend the funeral due to health reasons, but she has deputed 7 senior cabinet colleagues of hers to represent the Tamil Nadu government. What we are also told is that there is a possibility of chief ministers from the nearby states, that's Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala. Some of them would also be coming here to pay their last respect. The funeral is going to take place at 11 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Going by the huge gathering, huge number of people out there, it seems that the time limit that was set earlier, 8 p.m., will have to be extended by the local administration for the common people to have a last glimpse at their leader.
Absolutely. We'll leave it there for the moment. Vishal Dahiya, thanks so much for joining us with those details. They will be tracking those developments there from Rameshwaram with you. Meanwhile, tributes continue to pour in from across the world for APJ Abdul Kalam, describing him as an advocate for a strong Indo-US relation. US President Barack Obama praised Kalam's rise from a humble background. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif also expressed deep condolences. Like we pointed out, Pakistani President Nawaz Sharif also expressed deep condolences, saying Kalam will be remembered for his services to the country. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani termed Kalam as an inspirational leader for him and millions of others across the world. And terming Kalam's death as an irreparable loss, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina described his personality as a rare combination of a great statesman, an acclaimed scientist, and a source of inspiration for the young generation. Well, apart from the tributes coming in, the nation observing a 7-day mourning period as well, and people continue to pay tributes to the former president across the country. We'll leave you with some glimpses of that as we head into a quick break here.
Yaqub Memon headed for the gallows. Curative petition dismissed. Mercy hopes dry up. Does he have an avenue left, or is the hanging inevitable now? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television. Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like. Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. Let's get to some international news. And the elusive chief of Afghan Taliban, Mullah Omar, has reportedly died. Media reports quote sources in the Afghan government and intelligence saying that Omar died 2 to 3 years ago. However, the government has now said it is still investigating the reports of Omar's death. The Taliban had issued Omar's message on the eve of Eid, in which he had hailed as legitimate the July 7th peace talks between his group and the Afghan government. The Taliban leader had been in hiding following his government's ouster in 2001. It was his backing for Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden after the 9/11 attacks that sparked the US-led campaign in Afghanistan. Taliban leaders and fighters have not heard from their chief since 2007, is some reports. There have been, of course, several reports of Mullah Omar's death in the past as well.
Of the reports about passing away of Mullah Omar, the Taliban leader, we're still in the process of assessing those reports, and as soon as we get any more accurate information or authentication of those reports, we're going to let the media and the people of Afghanistan know about it.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by Shubhajit Roy, the senior assistant editor with the Indian Express, joining us this evening in studio. Shubhajit, what's the contradiction for? Why do we always see these reports that come in? Why do we always see so much confusion when it comes to especially Mullah Omar's death?
Well, to start with, nobody has seen him for the last 11, 12 years. Secondly, there have been very few audio or video statements, recording statements in the last few years as compared to Osama bin Laden before he was killed. These are the two major reasons why we know so little about Mullah Omar. Secondly, the intelligence agencies play this game off and on to ascertain his whereabouts, to ascertain whether he is dead or alive, and to ascertain his location. So these are some of the factors which have been, prompting these reports so far.
All right. Also, give us an idea as far as these reports are concerned. Whose purpose is it actually served in, reports of him being kept alive, or for that matter, in Pakistan's case, claiming that he died, in fact, 2 to 3 years ago? What purpose does this serve?
Well, in the current case, as I was, the information that I've gathered from my sources in Afghanistan and Pakistan is that there is a huge factional battle within Taliban that is taking place right now. Rahimullah Yusufzai, who interviewed Mullah Omar before 9/11, he's written a piece today in the newspaper in Pakistan. He writes, and a lot of them are talking about it, that the current deputy chief of Taliban, Mullah Mansoor, is heading a faction, while Mullah Omar's son, who's a 26-year-old Mullah Yaqub, is heading another faction. So there's a leadership tussle that's going on for Taliban right now. And it's interesting how this is playing out as Afghan Taliban is in negotiations with the Afghan government, for reconciliation process. So this is an outcome of this churning within Afghan Taliban, which is forcing probably these reports to come out.
Now, we do understand that the threat of the IS entering into Afghanistan is increasing by the day. We do know there have been reports that the Taliban is definitely concerned about that. When you have news like this that comes in, when you have the Afghan government now looking into whether Mullah Omar is dead or not, what does this reflect for the Taliban? If you could explain that a little further.
Obviously, the Taliban cadre has not seen or heard Mullah Omar, so there is a lot of skepticism about his leadership within the rank and file of Taliban. And as ISIS is growing and expanding its influence beyond Syria, Iraq, many of these cadres and these people from rank and file are gravitating towards ISIS. So it is important for Taliban to get its act together, gather its forces so that it doesn't allow ISIS to come and dominate the region. So that is a leadership battle between these two, terror groups that is playing out as well. One little factor that, you were asking about these reports of why do they emerge. I was talking to an Australian journalist about an hour back who lived and worked in Afghanistan, reported for many years. She told me that, the number of times she had to check the rumor of Mullah Omar being dead or alive was 729 times in 4 years that she spent there.
All right. And very quickly, what does the US say about this? What is the US's stand? Do they stand to gain if they do learn that Mullah Omar is dead? Or, with their eyes on the IS, would they rather prefer the Taliban to remain in control of Afghanistan?
Well, just like Osama bin Laden's death, in that case, it was an assassination. Mullah Omar's death was obviously going to be a big takeaway for the Obama administration, which is in its last leg. But Mullah Omar is also more than a personality. He is an idea within Taliban circles in that terror group. So it is important to see whether this news is confirmed and how Taliban takes the leadership battle to the next level. I mean, how do they respond to the death of or the leak of his death? How do they take it to the next level? What is the kind of strategy they unravel? Those are the questions that need to be assessed before we can really say about the future.
Well, all we can say is we won't need to hold our breath, at least in this one, because all you know, the next few days we do hear reports from the Taliban that he is indeed alive. Thanks so much, Shubhajit Roy, though, for joining us and sharing details with us on this particular story. Meanwhile, let's head back to national news. And in the wake of continuous disruptions in Lok Sabha, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan has convened an all-party meeting on Thursday. The meet aims to discuss better functioning of the lower house. The proceedings were virtually washed out in the first week of the ongoing session. In all probability, the Speaker is likely to raise instances where members have disregarded the authority of the chair. On Monday, Congress MP Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had climbed the podium of the Speaker's dais and banged a placard on it. The House will resume on Friday. Home Minister Rajnath Singh is expected to make a statement on the Gurdaspur terror attack on Monday. Meanwhile, following that attack, Punjab Chief Minister Prakash Singh Badal met the family of SP Baljeet Singh in Kapurthala today, who was killed during the 12-hour encounter with militants in Gurdaspur. Investigations until now have revealed that the militants entered Dinanagar from the international border, which is just a few kilometers away. Here are more details.
Punjab Chief Minister Prakash Singh Badal paying his respects to slain SP Baljeet Singh, telling his family members in Kapurthala that he will extend all help to them.
बहुत ही दर्दनाक बलिदाई घटना हुई है और जिहड़े इस घटना च शहीद होए हैं वो देश दे शहीद है पंजाब दे शहीद है.
Badal also cancelled his meeting with Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit. Reports also said the MEA refused permission to senior diplomats slated to accompany him. Meanwhile, Islamabad issued a statement condemning the assault, countering speculation that the assailants had crossed over from Pakistani territory.
Well, the government of India is seized of the matter. Whatever the government of India has to decide, they will be deciding in the interest of the country. But at the same time, what is clear is that whatever little talk which will take place with Pakistan, it will be focused and it will be terrorism-centric coming across the border.
Gurdaspur incident has once again, very clearly brought out the evil intentions of Pakistan. This tragedy of the whole thing is that, there is a very, very serious intelligence failure.
The cumulative evidence against the Pakistani state is overwhelming, and yet nothing is done against the Pakistanis. The problem is we are thinking that the world will come and fight our battles for us.
The initial probe indicates the terrorists suspected to belong to Pakistan-based LET entered India through Bamiyal village. BSF DG DK Pathak will visit the border area of Gurdaspur to check the security setup. Police have also warned of more infiltration attempts during the rainy season. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to address at least 3 more rallies in Bihar next month ahead of the state assembly elections. On the 9th of August, the Prime Minister will address a public meeting in Gaya. It would be his second poll pitch after his Muzaffarpur rally last week. He is likely to hold another rally in Saharsa on the 19th of August and Bhagalpur on the 30th. Banking heavily on the Prime Minister, the BJP is launching an aggressive campaign in Bihar to counter the Janata Parivar alliance. In other news, bureaucrats Sanjeev Chaturvedi and Anshu Gupta, who head the NGO Gunj, Anshu Gupta in fact heads the NGO Gunj and will receive the Ramon Magsaysay Award this year. Sanjeev Chaturvedi was the whistleblower on the alleged scam at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The award foundation citation said Chaturvedi is being recognized for his integrity, courage and tenacity in exposing corruption in public office and for his governing skills. Anshu Gupta, who left his corporate job to start Gunj in 1999, is being recognized for his creative vision and leadership in creating cloth as a sustainable development resource for the poor. They will be formally conferred the Magsaysay Award on the 31st of August at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. And that's all we have for you on the news at 6. Coming up next is The Big Picture.